Today we're going to show you the most incredible and shocking moments on railways from around the world. You'll see massive trains derailing and ordinary situations turning into real disasters. Accidents, mishaps, and just plain strange occurrences, all of this in our video. Ready? Then hit the like button and let's get started. Even an ordinary bicycle on the tracks can cause a real disaster in the subway. The people clearly weren't expecting such a chilly shower. A train derailed and caused total chaos around it. It seems these train cars are destined for a second life at the bottom of the ocean. As artificial reefs, they'll become a new home for coral and marine life. The fish will definitely say thank you. This is what happens when a multi-ton truck collides with a train. In Hanoi, train tracks literally merge with the city streets. Trains pass right between residential buildings and locals casually push their belongings off the tracks seconds before the train goes by. Soundproofing? No one even thought about it here. It seems this old fellow has served its time and is ready for a well-deserved retirement. Belgian firefighters equipped their trucks to drive right on the rails. Traffic jams are no longer an issue for them. A disaster movie in the subway, a triggered fire alarm in the London Underground turned into a complete chaos. People had to literally smash windows to escape. In the Czech Republic, derailed trains aren't removed with a crane, but with a tank. This approach looks incredibly dramatic. This runway tanker is out of control, and local services will have to work hard to stop it. During a flood, a suspension railway becomes a real lifesaver. This is why you shouldn't park your car near the railway. Sometimes commuter trains put on a show more thrilling than any amusement ride. The railways in Myanmar look extremely unreliable, but they still attract tourists from all over the world. This train is so long that the engineer doesn't even notice the damage it causes.
And we're moving on at the speed of light. All the most interesting things are still ahead.
Japan still holds the record for the number of high-speed trains. Luck was definitely parked on this street today. It seems we've found a locomotive powered by nuclear fuel. The engineer's poor sense of dimensions turned several cars into elegant convertibles. This is the most Christmas-themed locomotive in the world. Bet it's delivering gifts for Christmas. A swan blocked an entire station. Thankfully, it was gently escorted away and traffic resumed. The scale of this disaster is staggering. It's hard to imagine what caused it. The pickup truck driver will definitely think twice before parking so close to the tracks again. Thanks to the sparks, this famous train in China turns an ordinary ride into a fiery spectacle. During the rainy season, Indian trains transform into water transport, such as the price of monsoon season. This worker's mistake will likely cost him a year's salary. The car versus train collision experiment was so spectacular, you'll want to watch it again and again. Even if one car derails, it doesn't necessarily mean the whole train has to stop. Who would have thought that even at 3 kilometers per hour, accidents can happen?
There are things that are absolutely impossible to believe, and how could this even happen?
It seems this train is ready for more, maybe even to cross the Atlantic. This worker in China really needs to pay more attention to his surroundings. These unusual trains polish the rails, making the tracks safer for everyone else. After watching this video, you'll definitely stop at railroad crossings. A perfect example of why tram drivers also need to watch traffic lights. In Japan, there are pushers, subway workers who literally cram passengers into overcrowded cars. Despite the scale of this accident, human casualties were miraculously avoided. In India, a train can practically pull right up to your house. It turns out that train cars detach from trains much more often than we think. These incidents often lead to accidents. The tractor driver can definitely celebrate a second birthday today. After heavy rains, you could easily use open train cars as swimming pools. This is how defective train cars are removed from the tracks. Sometimes a train can derail even while on a bridge.
To be honest, I'm speechless after witnessing it. What about you?
I wonder if the engineer realizes he's already lost a few cars. Footage shot in real life looks like scenes straight out of an action movie. Sometimes the electricity on railways can reach as much as 30,000 volts. Even on a busy workday, there's always time for a good deed. In Canada, special trains clear railway tracks of snow. Just look at how spectacular it is. It seems the train's braking didn't go quite as planned. They have only a few seconds to remove their belongings before the train arrives. Drifting on a tram looks much more impressive. Here's another rail polishing train that keeps the tracks in excellent condition.
What an incredible footage! We always strive to choose the best content for you.
A train driver who decided to abandon his passengers. He'll have a hard time explaining why he was late to the schedule. Think train tracks are always perfectly straight? The car driver was incredibly lucky to have slowed down in time. This is what a derailment of freight cars looks like. An unusual surprise for drivers in Baku. Judging by the sound, this train will fall off in just a few seconds. We found the most unreliable railway in the world. A malfunctioning traffic light at a railroad crossing brings plenty of surprises to drivers. The driver tried to cut off the wrong vehicle. Thankfully, no one was hurt in this accident either. She showed who's boss on this railway.
If you haven't liked this episode yet, now is the best time to do it.
A tram can yield only to an ambulance. This is what the most desperate attempt to stop a train looks like. Watching trains in winter is a special kind of pleasure. Give a like to this train for its incredible lights. Bet the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are about to pop out of here. A dash cam captured the moment train cars derailed. Luckily, drivers were at a safe distance. No consequences occurred.
Have you also noticed that our time together flies at the speed of light? We can't wait to see you in our next episode. See you soon!